about this right now. So, and clear up some rumors. So, not too long ago, people have been talking about Cleveland, Ohio, and they're increasing missing kids list. Okay. And so some people are saying that there are about 1,000 missing kids missing in Cleveland, Ohio. So the reports in question, they failed to note that the cases cover missing children's cases across Ohio, not just Cleveland. And most importantly, now this is kind of a spin, dated back to 1928. So they're talking about missing kids, but they're going all the way back to 1928, when then 4-year-old Melvin Hurst went missing in what remains the state's oldest unsolved missing children's case. So they're not just talking about missing kids in Cleveland, all the facts. They're adding them from years ago in Ohio and even 1928, the very first missing kids case. So Cleveland police said in a statement that the department is currently investigating a total of 137 missing persons cases. 137. So 65 are juvenile and 67 are adults. So almost half, 14 of those minors are habitual runaways, and two others are in the process of being removed from that list, while 16 are considered endangered. So you wonder what endangered means. And habitual, from what I gather, is kids run away from home and coming back, run away from home and coming back. So the police chief said in June that although missing children cases have spiked 20% this year in Cleveland, over 1,000 of the 1,000 children reported missing in 2023 have been found safe. So over the 1,072 children, 1,020 have been found safe. So that percentage is really a good percentage, but yet it says that there's so many missing kids out there. So is the FBI or missing case organization, are they messing up their figures? And who is giving this false information? So a statement from the organization, the police said, sharing false information is a direct threat to public safety and causes an immense amount of harm to the family members of the persons that we are tirelessly working to bring home. We encourage our citizens to check their sources of information and stay informed with credible outlets. And we're going to talk about that. Attorney General Yost, he admitted that the state faced several challenges when it came to tracking information about missing minors and updating it in a timely fashion. So, out of the 1,000 children, missing children in Cleveland, it did not include that 35 children had gone missing in August and 45 in September. So go to the website, the Attorney General's website, and they said you can find out more about that. So a large number of children reported missing are runaways or minors who have already been found. So it's basically about them updating all the information. The Attorney General added, though, that the spike in cases, even if they are being solved in a timely fashion, continues to be alarming. So it's like as soon as they find the kids, there's more kids missing. So now what we know is when we look behind the numbers, some of those represent repeated runaways, and local police have talked about that. I am fearful of all kinds of things that fall through the cracks that include missing children. This is what the Attorney General said. I rely on the tenacity of a worried parent more than I do the bureaucracy whose job it is to put data into a computer. So maybe again, the people at the Attorney General's office just isn't updating it. Or maybe these people are missing. So missing kids, he has said, does not include missing kids in Akron. It's only for Cleveland. So meanwhile, the families of the children who are part of the missing list continue searching for answers and hoping they'll get a chance to see their loved ones again. And we're going to talk about that. So when I initially saw this story, let me go back to that. And they were talking about the almost 30 children missing in Cleveland in a 2-week span. The things that I noticed, I was like, wow, you don't see an Amber Alert. I don't think they do milk cartons. They don't see any billboards. 30 children missing. That's a big story, no matter where you're at. So as I'm reading this, the news stories, the interviews that were given as far as for the Cleveland area, as far as the missing kids, um, was from this Newburgh Heights police officer, John LaJoy. And every time you would read about the missing kids, it would be something reported from him. The media was going out to him. So I kept saying to myself, self, if this is a Cleveland case, why are we getting reports from the Newburgh Heights Police Department, John LaJoy? And I looked into this, which I thought was kind of weird. So he's a Newburgh Heights police chief, but he's also president of this organization called Cleveland Missing. So I kept wondering, Newburgh Heights Police, but not Cleveland Police talking about that, but Newburgh Heights Police Chief is the president of Cleveland Missing, an organization that talks about and advocates for missing children, which kind of makes sense. So as I'm going on the site and I'm looking at board of directors and everything, I see this one guy. And he is also, which is interesting, a reporter on this one news station in Cleveland that reports news. So again, I'm like, okay, well, my questions are, he's a reporter, a Cleveland news reporter, but yet he's not really pushing the 30 kids missing, but he's also on the same board as Cleveland Missing, which is the Newburgh Heights police chief is the president of. But there's really no impact or input from the Cleveland police. Well, that's very interesting. So the way that I found this story, I was watching a streaming show, and the streaming guy who was hosting it, he was talking about there was no publicity on that, and I had never heard about the story. So that's how I decided to hear about the story. And it showed me now that mainstream media, they don't push a lot of things. Some people say it's too controversial. Well, you got 30 kids missing. National media is coming here to find it out. Why isn't this one of the main news stories of that day until we find the missing children? So did the show, didn't get much response. And then recently, people reporting there are about 1,000 kids missing now. And I thought, man, that's kind of crazy. And I looked at national news and they were talking about that. And then Cleveland News said, well, that's not true. So been in touch now with the Newburgh Heights Police chief and some other people, and we're going to do a show. We'll have a show. If you haven't seen it, stay tuned. And we're going to talk about these missing children. Hopefully have maybe family members on there and everything. Because we got to get it out there. If it's not happening in your city, and it's not happening in my city, it's happening in somebody else's city, And I've known people that have had kids missing, and it's not really a great feeling. So we're going to talk about that. If you would like to come on the show too, you can come on the show. Again, you can text me, 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. And you can email me. It's parkerman2011@gmail.com, parkerman2011@gmail.com. So while we're talking about this story, and this is what Newburgh Heights Police Chief John LaJoy has to say as far as the missing kids. Back in the late spring, we saw an uptick in the number of missing children cases. Now we're seeing a second wave of an uptick in missing children. We can attribute it to kids being back in school and the weather is still decent, says LaJoy. So, maybe kids are coming home late and the parents don't know. Maybe the kids aren't telling the parents, hey, you know what, I'm going over my friend's house. So in August, there were 35 kids missing recently. In September, 45 kids. And LaJoy says, we also have to remember that a good majority of cases are runaways. It doesn't minimize the urgency because they are putting themselves in danger, but they aren't abductions. So yes, is there a difference between kids being abducted and kids running away? And why are they running away? Peer pressure running away? Maybe things wrong at home running away? What is making them run away? So again, I told you, Chief LaJoy is also president of Cleveland Missing, a local nonprofit organization. He says, I don't want them to put Cleveland in a light that we have all these vanishing children, because it's not quite the case. Do we have an uptick? Yes. Is there a concern? Of course. But at the same token, law enforcement is doing their due diligence. Majoy added that the public can be law enforcement's greatest access. Cleveland police add that in 2022, detectives solved 99% of all missing children's cases received. So far this year, 94% of all cases have been solved. Wow, man. And look at that. You would think there are so many missing kids out there. Now, they were saying 94% of the missing cases, people have been returned and solved. That's a lot. So we're going to have Chief LaJoy and some other people on the show to talk about that.